Welcome into the AHSAA Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Brooks, and soon we'll be joined by Coach Aj Kehoe from Central-Phenix City High School, head baseball coach there. They are fresh off of a 7A state championship, the first baseball state championship in Central-Phenix City history. And then after him, Coach Jarrod Cook from Trinity Presbyterian. Not the first championship for them, they have plenty, but the first for him as the head coach there at Trinity as he takes over Coach Ken Whittle, who was there for 40 plus years and won countless championships there himself. Coach Cook steps in and gets a 3A championship this year with a Game 3 win over Piedmont. That was the series that got the week started last week up there in Jacksonville, and it was a lot of fun to call. It was a lot of fun to watch. And look, if you missed any of the baseball and softball action from last week, I feel bad for you because it was a lot of fun. And all those kids really put a lot of work in and really made it a ton of fun. Last year was a great year. 5 of the 7 series ended up going to Game 3. This year, 4 of the 7 series in baseball go to Game 3. You had countless softball series that the team that was coming out of the losers bracket forced the if necessary game. And it just makes it so much fun. And then this was the first time ever that every team was in Oxford. And then you had baseball that went over to Jacksonville for Games 2 and 3. But you had softball going on right behind baseball that had their Game 1s going on, and it's set up for just an unbelievable atmosphere up there, and was a lot of fun to be a part of. So I'm gonna now send it over to those interviews, and you can listen to Coach Aj Kehoe and Coach Jarrod Cook as they discuss their state championship seasons. I want to welcome in my next guest here on the AHSAA Podcast, Coach Aj Kehoe, head baseball coach at Central-Phenix City High School, and now a state champion, as you guys were able to complete it this past week. And Coach, I've known you now for a long time. My dad has known you for a long time. And I just want to start off by congratulating you and letting you know that we're really, really proud of you and what you were able to go down there and accomplish at Central-Phenix City. You were very close to getting one there at Beauregard about 10 years ago, but able to finally finish this one off. And so congratulations to you and your program on being able to finish it off this season.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It feels great. It feels great. Just truly blessed. You think about it, I've got just very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. I've got great assistant coaches. We had a great club, fantastic administration, the community, just everybody is very supportive of athletics. It's kind of pulling in the same direction when you start talking about community, school, and everything. And really, that's what it takes, man. It takes all of that.
When you look at what you've been able to do down there, obviously your area, I've told everybody, you could argue it's the toughest area in 7A. One good team has been left out every single year. For Smith Station, unfortunately, it's been them for the most part here over the last couple of years. But, it's such a fantastic area. When y'all make it out, I asked Coach Simo this last year when they were on their way to trying to play for one. When you make it out of that area and you get through and get to the playoffs, do you just kind of feel like, hey, we were able to get through this. So now, now it's about to get fun. And now we feel like we can go and just compete with anybody.
Yeah. There's you definitely have that confidence. There's no doubt about it. But on the flip side of that, it's very grueling. There was, I think, a lot more emotion, after winning the semifinals, and a lot more, sense of relief or excitement at that point. And then, you have a little bit of a lull and almost a letdown going into the state championship. So, just from a managerial standpoint, you got to reel those guys back in, remind them that, hey, regardless of how exhausted we may be, regardless of what just happened, we got to find a way to continue to push through for another 5 days. And, so there's challenges on all sides of it, but you're exactly right. I don't care what anybody says, it's the toughest area in the state. And I know there's some other very competitive areas out there, but I think all you have to do is look at the success Auburn has had since we've gone 7A. And you can't forget that Smith Station won it in 2015, the first year of 7A. So, I'm just really proud to be a part of a part of what's going on and having the opportunity, to try to build this program and close those gaps over the last few years. And now it's going to be a challenge to try to maintain that success.
How much confidence did your team get from winning the area this year? Being able to host that semifinal game and get to play it at your place. I mean, how important was that? And how much did having the success in the regular season really help the success y'all were able to have in that semifinal series with Auburn?
Well, it helped tremendously. Anytime you can go through some adversity and then refer back to it, and show your team how successful you were and the ability to go ahead and accomplish those things, it's priceless. The fact that we lost Friday night to Hewitt, we were able to refer back to the fact that, in area play against Auburn, we lost, the first game 1. We were able to convince them and prove to them that, we went into Auburn and swept them, and that gave us the confidence to do the same thing on Saturday. The catch-22 is like, you want to win an area championship, so you got to beat Auburn 2 out of 3. Well, that's a feat in itself. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, hey, we want to play for a state championship. Hey, you got to beat them 4 times. So, there's no easy task to it. Our guys finished the season in their last 2 series, beating an Auburn club that was ranked in the top 30 in the country, maybe top 20, and then Hewitt that was ranked in the top 30 in the country, and respectively. And I think that just speaks volumes, and just really proud for our kids.
Coach Malden said it after the Friday night game. He said, look, we won 6-0. They didn't score any runs, but their at-bats were so good, and they kind of made us work, and they showed that they had great approaches at the plate. Did you kind of see the same thing, even though you guys weren't able to score in that Friday night game? Was it encouraging to watch the way your guys battled against Riley Quick, and did it kind of make you think, hey, if we can go and maybe just string together a couple hits tomorrow, maybe we can bust the seal and really get this thing rolling?
Yeah, I think I think we knew how good we were offensively, how we had a chance to be. If we were disciplined and stuck with our approaches, we've been very successful throughout the year, and our lineup really showed a lot of depth. And even with 2 or 3 multiple players that will put in it. I think what Jeff did at Hewitt was very good, because we knew what we were gonna see. We knew how dominant Riley had been all year long. So we really geared up for the velo, to be honest with you. I mean, I think he hit 96 5 or 6 times Friday night, but sat in that 93, 95 range. But as a club, we really got geared up for the velo. Well, our first time through, to Jeff's credit, I mean, he was probably 55, 60% change up breaking ball. So it really forced a lot of weak contact early. It put our guys on their heels a little bit offensively. And I think the second, third time, he was able to, really utilize his fastball a little bit better, just because of the way he went through us in the first time through. So, yeah, I mean, we felt good about our sticks and our athleticism. The opportunities that we would have to go ahead and manufacture some runs, but we knew it was going to be a war too. It was going to be a war.
About a 35 minute drive from Trussville to get to Oxford, about a 2.5 hour drive for you guys. Did it feel like you were playing a road game on Friday night in Oxford?
Yeah. Minus the fact that we went down there on Thursday. I'm just a big believer, man. We got to eliminate distractions. A lot of people like staying in routine, and it works for them at the house, depending on. But when we went to Mobile, we went a day early. I know on a trip like that, you really got to get the bus off you. Oxford wasn't terribly far away, but with all the hype in the environment and everything that was going on, I really didn't want our kids to feel pushed and rushed, and I wanted them to have a kind of a chance to embrace that environment. So we went down a day early. We actually practiced in Oxford. Once we were done practicing, We were able to watch the opening ceremonies of the Hartselle game just to get them acclimated to that climate a little bit. And I think that finally hit them. It took a couple of days. It was surreal for us, but all the kids kept saying Monday and Tuesday, it doesn't even feel like we're playing for a state championship game. And I think that's just partially because, we had to beat a rival of ours, and we knew what we were up against in the semifinals. And you're going to naturally, especially with 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, you're going to have a little bit of a letdown, man. You just can't bring that type of intensity, 7 days a week for 6 straight weeks,
With, the way that things went on Friday night, changing venues, going from Choccolocco to JSU, does that help things just from a psychological standpoint, you think, with your players of, hey, now it's a whole new place, a whole new city, and we can just kind of start over on Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. I think, to a certain degree anyways, I don't think it would have mattered where our kids were playing. Our guys have been extremely resilient throughout the year, and they've always answered the bell when their back's been against the wall. And, we've always stressed about your best players really having to play their best baseball in big games. All our big-time players really showed up. Our entire roster really competes. And, I think the different venue was good. They're still high school guys. They're superstitious about things. We've played in Oxford. I give Wes a hard time about it, but and partially because Wes absolutely hammers us from a scheduling standpoint. But we've gotten our butts whooped in Oxford, going up there, mixing it up for 2 or 3 days, typically in February and stuff. So, but it was good. It was good to get out of there, go to Jacksonville State, and it was a new day, a fresh start, and we knew what we had what we had in front of us, and what we had to do. Our guys just did a terrific job executing.
Like I mentioned earlier, you took a team at Beauregard to the state championship. You guys played at Patterson Field, then went over and played at Riverwalk. Now this group obviously goes up, plays at Choccolocco, plays at JSU. How did you feel about the move up to Oxford, to Jacksonville State, and how that went this year compared to when you were in Montgomery about 10 years ago?
Obviously, it didn't affect us, either way. I personally didn't mind it. I wish it wouldn't have been so early in the morning. We played the late game at Oxford Friday night. We're on Eastern time. So, by the time I feed our kids and we get back to our hotel, it's midnight. So, our kids got to get cleaned up. They got to pack. They got to get ready to check out because we have to leave the hotel at 7:15 in the morning. 7:15 in the morning, we're checking out because we have to go, be at Jacksonville State to hit. So there was a lot of different things that we had to do. The positive thing is that we've just we've done it probably 2 or 3 times all year. Played in PG National. It was the same way. We played 4 games. We got off the semifinal game against Loganville, Georgia. I want to say we finished at 1:45 in the morning, and we played Hewitt in the championship game the next day, and that was game 5. So I think just being able to reflect back on some of your experiences during the course of the season was just really beneficial.
What about from an atmosphere standpoint? Can you kind of compare the two, being at Riverwalk and then obviously JSU a little bit closed in and not less seats, that type of stuff? How did you feel like that kind of maybe added to or took away from the atmosphere compared to being at Riverwalk?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I thought the atmosphere was really good. I really did. It was fun. It's not as big as Riverwalk. So there was a lot more fans. We're kind of on top of the game a little bit, so to speak. It was nice, man. I thought the atmosphere was great. I really do. I thought our fan base was terrific. We had a ton of support, and the fans got a little bit, got after it. They didn't shy away from getting after it. So it made it fun.
What did you think about JSU's place? Was that your first time visiting that park since they had built it? And how, with what they've done up there, with how Coach Case has built that place, how did you feel about what JSU has done with their baseball program and that baseball stadium?
I think it's awesome. And of course, I've been there before. In fact, Central played there the first year it opened up. We played there. So,
Okay.
I mean, we had it was fantastic. We love it. It's a beautiful facility. But yeah, our guys have been there. They've played there before, which was neat. Caleb Johnson, our shortstop, is a commit there. He told me on Monday, he said, I told Coach Bush, in the beginning of the year, I said, I'm going to end my high school career on that field, and I'm going to start my college career on it. So, and that kind of came and held true for him. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Talk about the, a lot of these teams, they play on dirt and grass all season long. And then, obviously it is turf at JSU. How different does that make the game when you go and play on turf compared to when you're playing on grass and dirt? Obviously, like you talked about, y'all played a perfect game, y'all experienced it, but the ball moves different and everything's different when you're on turf compared to a normal baseball field?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no doubt. And we play on a dirt field. And what typically happens is, especially early in the year, there's a tremendous speed difference because there's so much rain. A lot of fields play a little bit slower. And then as the season goes on in late spring, fields start getting harder and faster. So it simulates. But, it's definitely going to be true, and that's one benefit to it. We're fortunate enough. We have a football field that's turf where we were able to take some ground balls and just kind of get acquainted with it again and prepared. But yeah, man, if you've got a slow grass, field, and even going from Oxford over to Jacksonville State, I mean, that's two different things. But man, I'll tell you what, that grounds crew did a tremendous job too. That ballpark was in fantastic shape,
So when does your now focus start shifting towards next season? When will you start, kind of preparing for this summer and start really kind of trying to, how long are you trying to take to enjoy this championship, enjoy this team before you really start worrying about, all right, let's get ready for this 2023 baseball season?
It won't be long. That's something that I've had to go ahead and work on personally, is just trying to embrace it and enjoy it a little bit more. And we've kind of stressed that to our kids last week. So we're going to take a little bit of time. I think it's really beneficial for our coaching staff to get away from our kids for a little bit, and for our kids to get away from us. Like any type of family dynamic, you can wear on each other a little bit, and so we're going to take some time. I think we'll start off with our exit meetings. We'll really emphasize and be able to talk to some of those underclassmen about specifics that they need to go ahead and make sure they're working on to give themselves opportunities to be a starter or a major role player in our program. And then, of course, now we're going to lift and we're going to throw and we're going to do some things. But the majority of our kids play in travel ball organizations. The majority of our kids are gone from Thursday, to Sunday, or, and sometimes even an entire week. So, we're going to make sure we lift. We're going to take care of our arms. People that are shutting down for the summer are going to shut down and just emphasize on, just the athleticism aspect of it. But we still got a lot going on with this year's club too, and celebrating. So I know our guys are getting fitted on Wednesday. The design's going to come out on Wednesday for the ring. I know there's a lot of excitement around that, obviously. I know there's 2 or 3 other events that are planned. So, it'll still be a busy next month and a half, really.
Coach, really appreciate you taking the time to join me here on the AHSAA podcast. And again, congratulations to you. Congratulations to your program on first ever state championship there at Central-Phenix City.
Man, I thank you. I thank you for everything you do for our sport. We got a great sport. We have a ton of great coaches in this state. Your father is one of them. And the great thing about it is, 98%, 99% of us all really tremendously respect one another, and are close in a lot of ways, and will do anything for each other. So, hats off to you and the stuff that you do for our program. and just baseball in general in the state, and just really appreciate that, man. And we thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Coach. I appreciate it. I want to welcome in my next guest here on the AHSAA podcast, head baseball coach at Trinity Presbyterian School and 2022 3A state champion, Coach Jarrod Cook. And Coach, I came by and visited you guys going into round number 2 when you guys had to make a trip down to Mobile to go to Cottage Hill. And since then, you guys just kept it rolling and go all the way to win a state championship. And so I just want to congratulate you and congratulate your program on being able to accomplish what you guys were able to accomplish this year.
Well, thank you, Caleb. We certainly appreciate that. Appreciate the work you and your staff are doing to cover high school baseball. I know it's a big deal, and we're just fortunate to be able to make that run and continue to get better every week and make it happen.
I can tell you about 10 years ago when I was playing for you down in the Metro League down there in the Wood Bat League, I wouldn't have ever thought that I'd be calling a state championship, especially in your first season there at Trinity. And, I talked to you about it a couple of weeks ago, following the man. Nobody ever wants to be the man, to follow the man. And you did that with Coach Whittle there. And to deliver a state championship in year 1, obviously you're really proud of it, but was it a little bit of a relief also? I mean, there had to be a little bit of pressure stepping into those shoes going into year number 1.
Well, going back to your first comment, it's funny how, life just comes back full circle, man. I remember having you that summer, and the great kid you were to come in and work hard and try to get better, and your dad allowing you to play with us. And man, it's just baseball, I think, is a full circle game. So I really enjoyed my time there with the Metro League and got to meet a lot of good, special young players. And it's just, it's great that it come back full circle. But no, I mean, honestly, I don't feel any relief. It's obviously surreal still. I don't know that it's actually sunk in. But I think probably more so than anything, just even when Coach Whittle was here and, being a part of 3 of them, I don't know. I always felt like we were in it together, and that's just how Coach Whittle approached it. It's how he made you feel as a staff member coaching under him. And I hope our coaches feel the same way, that, that I definitely don't want any of the credit, and the credit goes to our players and our coaching staff for, all the hard work we put in. Just happened to pay off. And, we talked to our guys about if we didn't win it, if we fell short or what happened, would the journey still be worth it? And obviously my answer to that is yes. Getting to know these guys and getting to go along every step of the way with them through the hard times, through the times we celebrate, through all the adversity. That's what makes this game really special. It's just a journey you go on, with 18, 19 guys, and they grow to love each other genuinely. They grow to get better on and off the field, and that's, obviously as coaches, that's our goal, is to develop them more so in their spiritual walk and just in life, and baseball just gives us a chance to do that.
You had a group of guys this year that was kind of on a mission coming off of last season, where you guys, felt like that you should have been the ones there playing for a state championship last year as well. Bayside was the name that kind of got brought up a lot, when I was there, by some of the guys, obviously wanting them. They ended up getting knocked out beforehand. You guys go and play Thomasville. Kind of take me through that series and the intensity of that series, go into game 3, and how much did that series really prepare y'all for that state championship series, having to win it in 3 games?
It was a big deal, Caleb. I myself knew, and Coach Sham was a part of the 2015 team as well. And we went down to Thomasville the first round that year. And so we knew exactly the type of atmosphere, the environment we were going to be playing in. And, we conveyed it to the guys. But, once again, it was the first game was one of those games where everything that could go wrong went wrong for us, much like what we heard from the Thomasville Bayside series. And I think game 2, you just saw our guys kind of relax. I think probably playing in the environment in the first game, they were able to settle in and realize that we were there for a reason, and we were very capable of coming back and winning 2 games. And, again, just taking it one pitch at a time. And, we got good starting pitching. Thomasville was one of those teams that they were young and talented, and they played fearless. They played with nothing to lose, and those teams can be very dangerous. But I think once we pushed a couple runs across early, we're just a different team. And if you look at a lot of our wins, when we scored first or we scored early, we just seemed to feed off of that confidence. And of course, Fleming and our whole pitch staff did a great job. But Fleming and Coleman having to throw game 2 and game 3 there, really quality starts gave us a chance to win, and we played good defense behind them. I think it was a difference. So yeah, you go to places like that to play, and you talk about it with the guys that it's going to be the difference in making the run to the finals or not. You got to go to those venues. You got to play in hostile environments, and you got to learn through it and grow through it. And our guys did. So that was very valuable moving on to the finals for sure.
Even though you guys weren't able to win game 1, it had to be a lot of fun to be in the dugout over there and watch, both your guy, Ben Easterling, and then Jack Hayes for Piedmont just duel with each other and really kind of bring their best stuff in one of the biggest moments of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hayes kid, everybody knows across the state what a competitor and a great athlete he is. And Ben, Ben went out and pitched really well. He settled in. We had a couple costly errors behind him, and really that was the difference in the first game. But the ability for Ben to go out and throw a complete game, even in a losing effort, and us being able to save some arms for game 2 and game 3 was a big deal. Obviously it gave us a chance to win. It gave us a chance to win in that game, and we had a couple rallies late, and we just couldn't push any runs across. But if you're a baseball fan, you like to see 2 guys go out there and duel on the mound. That's what you got game 1 for sure.
And in game 2, the thing that we kind of talked about a lot, me and Kenna MacArthur, who was doing the game with me, was you could tell that their guy as a freshman didn't really have his best stuff that day. Your guy, Fleming Hall, didn't really have his best stuff that day, but they just kind of battled and got through it and really got through some tough moments, and had to be kind of impressive to watch that on both sides with the way that they were just able to compete and, being such young guys, not really letting the environment and letting the way that the game was going really kind of get to them.
No, you're right, Caleb. It's pretty impressive. In any championship series, I think you don't see many teams roll out 2 freshmen out there competing in a win or go home situation or to win it all. So I think you're seeing more and more, even, obviously with college football, it's a big deal, but I think you're seeing more and more players developing at a really early age. And if they have the poise and they have the composure, they can go out there and compete with kids, 2 and 3 years older than them. And I think that's what you saw is 2 coaches who had confidence in 2 guys that can go out there and get it done. Fleming had really good stuff early. He was commanding the zone with every pitch. His fastball and his breaking ball, he was commanding it. We fell into some lulls there where we didn't execute with 2 strikes, and they did. Their 2-strike hit was really good, and we left some balls up with 2 strikes, so they were able to barrel some balls up that normally shouldn't happen. But not take anything away from them. They battled in a scrap to the last one, and Grayson obviously come in, and we felt good with his matchup throughout their whole entire lineup, especially the top of their lineup, just the way he could command a breaking ball. We were right there flirting with with another close one. And again, we just found a way to make one more play or one more pitch.
Kind of mentioned Grayson Ash. I mean, he goes from behind the plate to on the mound to throw the last 2 innings basically there of game number 2. And, then we saw Jack Case throw 7 innings on the first night and then catch 14 innings the next day. How impressive is that to watch a guy that can do both of those, especially with how hot it was on that Tuesday?
Well, I mean, I think and I think every coach knows that catchers are who they are by their DNA. And, you're not going to have a kid back there that's not pretty tough, mentally and physically. I think the one thing that helped us, our training staff and our technology equipment we had this year to help a lot of our guys recover a lot faster. We would bring those on road trips, especially in the playoffs. And, and our guys were able to go back to the hotel and use our NormaTech technology to really get their legs, get the blood flowing through those and really help them recover. And so I really think that was a really big deal for us this year. I saw plenty of guys come back and recover the next day, and Grayson obviously catching and coming back the next day and being as sharp as he was, velocity was still there. And he looked good. He looked healthy. It didn't look like he was laboring. So a lot of credit goes to that for sure.
Obviously, Coleman Stanley was able to go all 7 innings there in game 3. If he would have gotten in any trouble, would Grayson Ash have been the next guy coming behind? Would you have thrown him again in game 3?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, unless the score would have been stretched out at some point, he was our closer. So, yeah, I mean, if we would have had to go to him in the 4th or 5th, we probably would have, just because, he's a senior and he wants the ball, and he's going to give us the best chance to close it out. So, yeah, definitely.
I felt like Piedmont was maybe a little bit more aggressive in game 3 than they were in the 2 games before that. And it kind of felt like that worked into Coleman's advantage. He was able to throw a lot of first pitch strikes, get a lot of first pitch swings. And I mean, it helped him be able to throw a whole complete game at 75 pitches, which you just don't see that very often.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it did. It fed into Coleman's plan and being on schedule. He was really getting ahead of hitters. I don't remember the stat, Caleb, but he was pretty close to getting every leadoff guy of each inning out. And that's a big deal. I mean, when you need outs and it's that close of a game and neither team is really swinging it overly well, your percentages as an offense, your percentages go way down if you don't get the leadoff guy on. So, yeah, they were swinging early in counts, and more so Coleman did a really good job executing with 2 strikes in our advantage counts. He really did a great job of expanding the zone. And also, that's the best his breaking ball's been all year. So he was able to really command it just about in every count. Honestly, he could throw it to get ahead, and he threw it late in counts for out pitches. So it was, yeah, I mean, it was just one of those days where out of the hand, it felt good and looked good, and he was efficient, and we made plays behind him.
Kind of describe the heat for me a little bit and how that may have played a factor on that Tuesday, especially where you're on turf. I mean, it's super hot. The turf holds heat even more. I mean, it had to feel like about 100 degrees while the players were staying out in the field. How important was it to have those kind of short innings the way that y'all were able to have on that Tuesday in both games and get your guys in the dugout, get them out of the heat, and be able to kind of relax a little bit at times?
Yeah, I think it definitely helped. And I don't know. I wasn't really playing, so it didn't seem as hot to me out there. We had a good little breeze, but I know the guys were probably feeling it. Yeah, that definitely plays a big part in it. And like I said, our training staff, our coaches, in between innings, were making sure, and Coach Jess, our athletic director, was making sure our guys are staying hydrated and getting the wet towels they need to cool off, especially, our Coleman and Grayson and those guys that were pitching. So yeah, it was a big deal that we were able to get off the field when we needed to.
Was there any kind of concern going into playing at JSU and it obviously being an all turf field, and you guys play on dirt and grass at your home field? I know Thomasville has dirt and grass at their field, Cottage Hill, and was that any kind of concern, the difference in playing surface going into the championship series?
I don't know if it was a concern, Caleb. It was more just an adjustment, probably. And I think our guys probably over time, after playing the first game and playing 7 innings, started to adjust to just the speed of the ball. Vestavia Hills was very gracious to us. Miss Meyer up there, their AD was more than gracious for us to come up there and use their facility a couple of days just to try to get a good feel for what it was going to be like to play. On a faster service that, when you get some top spin, it's going to take off. And then, when a guy hits it straight down, it's going to hop, and you get some different, you get some different slow rollers, you get some different high choppers that you have to wait back a little longer. So I think that part of it probably played a big role in it for sure.
And we kind of saw that play into effect. I mean, the first 2 runs that y'all gave up in the whole series was due to a ball that was chopped up very high. And then I remember on the day 2, y'all ended up scoring some runs on a ball that was chopped very high due to Grayson Ash being able to beat one out, which set up the big inning for you guys. And, did y'all kind of know going in that, hey, if we get one down, try to hit it down and maybe see if you can get one of those big hops, hit it over the infield and things like that, knowing that it was going to be a little bit different?
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't really talk about it. Obviously, baseball on a natural surface or artificial surface, sometimes the ball rolls your way and sometimes it don't. And it probably couldn't be more true for us, playing on that turf. Our guys are going to put the ball in play, and they're going to get down the line regardless of what surface we're playing on. So, but it definitely played a factor in some of those runs where they were, able just to put the ball in play and had some kids that could really run and made it tough on our defense for sure.
And we heard on Monday night there, we could kind of hear into some of the dugouts, some of the conversations, and Fleming Hall went over and said, hey, look, if we get a throw down, keep the tag on those guys, because I tried to slide and I never stopped. I just kept going. And obviously we saw that even play a factor in some games as the season or as the week went on. And was that something that y'all had to discuss too, was knowing, hey, going into bags, you may have to time your diving a little bit sooner or time your slide a little bit sooner, because it's going to be a lot tougher to stop here on this turf.
Yeah, we talked about it, Caleb. I wrestled in my mind, do we have a minor sliding practice at Vestavia just to see what it's like? But then I said, I just can't do it for fear of injury or, at this time of year, you just don't want to do anything that might jeopardize that. But we talked about it, and I think it's just an adjustment. I think it's a feel for as the game goes on, of the timing of their slide. And then, we had conversations with our infielders coaches just to make sure those guys knew, and I think they already knew, they're pretty bright kids, to just stay with tags, whether it be a relay from the outfield or, a throw down from Grayson or whatever the situation may be. You definitely got to stay with the tag, because it's very possible that a guy could come off. But I think our guys just slid in and held on. That's what they did. They grabbed any part of the bag they could grab and just, made it a conscious effort to stay on the bag for sure.
When I look at Trinity athletics, things just seem to continue to trend up, with what Coach Shook is doing with the football program there. Obviously, girls basketball, if they don't run into PCA, they're probably holding up a blue mat this past year. And then you look at you guys and what y'all were able to accomplish there this year. Girls soccer also won a championship right before you guys. It's got to be a lot of fun to be there right now and be a part of that at Trinity.
It is. I think it's a special time, Caleb. I've been here going on 12 years. And obviously you'll have a cycle of things to come like this. And, I think our administration, our parents, and the support and the buzz that we're getting around, and winning helps. I don't think that's, you know, I don't think that's anything surprising. But the way we're going about it, and just the hard work our athletes are putting in, the belief they're having in our culture is just, it's spreading like wildfire throughout, like you're saying, throughout, girls athletics, boys athletics, the soccer team, boys, first time in the Final Four, I guess since the state championship run, was that 04, 03. So yeah, when Coach Shook come on board, it really helped aid in our baseball program and some of the vision that I know I had for our program. So it just kind of catapulted it, because, our values as coaches are very similar, and the hard work and the discipline and the toughness it takes to be successful is not for everybody. And so we're just trying to convey that to our parents and our kids, that, there's no shortcuts. There is none. If you want to be successful in life and in athletics, you got to do the hard stuff. And so I think once people start seeing the results, the successes, and even the failures, we learn from those. And once people start seeing those, it becomes contagious. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. It's contagious.
One of the big things we noticed was Monday night there at JSU, a lot of Piedmont fans. It wasn't a far drive for them at all to get to Jacksonville. But on Tuesday, showed up and all the students were standing right behind home plate. Everybody was in white. And you could tell that the emotions of the crowd and the support they had really affected your players. And, how did you see that really play a factor into the way that Tuesday went, with all your, fans being right there, getting there early, making sure they had a good seat, and making sure that they could make an impact on the games?
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was, because, game one, you saw a big sea of blue, and then game 2 and 3, you saw a lot of white shirts up there from our school. And just can't say thank you enough to our student body, our families and that traveled. We had families who had former players, families who have kids in lower school. And I think it's just a testament to how special Trinity is. And when we say we're a family, I don't think you can find a better picture or video, if you have that video, of, our kids celebrating with our fan base and with Wildcat Nation after the game. I think it just speaks volumes to how close we are. We're not perfect. We don't always get it right. And we have disagreements, but at the end of the day, we strive to pull from the same end of the rope. And I think you saw that happen with the students, the best student section in the state of Alabama, coming to support our players.
When you look at it, you guys kind of are the premier baseball program around Montgomery. I think I mentioned that to you a couple of weeks ago. What in your mind has made Trinity the premier baseball program, the best baseball program around the Montgomery area?
Well, obviously, I think it starts with Coach Whittle and just what he was able to do, and the way he went about it, with humility, with grace, with love, with tough love, with discipline, and really, when you get to guys like me, I'm reaping the benefits of something that's already been established. And, I got to see it firsthand. And, I think a lot of it too is our younger kids that come to school here, starting from the 5th, 6th grade, and they know, and they want to be a part of it. So they know growing up that they want to be a part of the Trinity baseball team. And, that's really special. Just think about that our kids grow up with that dream of one day playing in a Wildcat uniform and having the chance to play for a state championship. So there's been players that's gone on before us that have set the standard on what that means. We've had, ever since we won, we've had 5, 6 guys already up here working on their own. And I think they realize and understand there's a responsibility that comes with playing in our program. And that's doing it the right way. And that's representing your family and your school the right way. And, us as coaches, we're just very humble and appreciative to just get to reap those benefits.
Kind of tell me what the celebration has been like there at Trinity since you guys got back. Have y'all and the girls soccer team done some stuff together? And what kind of are the plans to celebrate both championships and especially y'all's championship?
Oh, well, I haven't heard of any plans. It was business as usual the next day at school. I've been running around trying to catch up on grass cutting, honestly. Yeah, I mean, we had the ring fitting the next day, so that was real exciting. Balfour was coming already with girls soccer, so we were able to slide in there with them, and that was exciting for the guys just to kind of see what the rings were going to look like, and see some different artwork they had for it. But yeah, I mean, I think celebration wise, I haven't heard anything come up to my knowledge. They said something about a parade, but I haven't. Nothing's been confirmed. We had field day today, so we're inching on out of here.
Does that also just kind of speak to the expectation there at Trinity as well, though? I mean, like the fact that, hey, you get done, it's like, hey, it's just business as usual, and we'll start focusing on going and trying to do it again next year.
I think probably some of that's definitely there. I'd probably be naive not to think that way. A lot of it, I think, is just the end of the school year. We got seniors that are graduating, that have worked their tail off in the classroom, playing multiple sports, and we're certainly excited for their next chapter in life, and taking the values they've learned from being here at Trinity School and under our athletic programs. And we're real excited to see them become husbands and fathers and wives and parents, and just see the success that they're going to have.
When will you kind of start focusing now on what you guys are planning to do this summer and just getting prepared for next year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take about 3 or 4 weeks, man, honestly, spend some time with my family. A lot of missed time there, of course. So yeah, I mean, over those 3 or 4 weeks, I won't shut it down completely mentally. I'll be thinking about some developmental things we need to do coming up this summer and this fall with our guys. So it'll be a lot of individual based. We do have several kids that are going to be playing summer ball, which is good. So it'll be, here in about 4 weeks, it'll be time to get back to work.
Kind of got a curveball thrown yesterday with changing from going to regions to back to areas now for next year. How's that affecting scheduling for you and for other coaches that you've talked to now?
Well, I haven't started the process of scheduling yet, and I haven't talked to any other coaches yet, honestly. So, I know for us, I mean, I was really probably looking forward to the region play, but without it, it kind of keeps us around town a little more. So I'm not extremely mad about it. And it allows us to go out and schedule, really quality opponents that are going to really sharpen us and make us better. Whereas region play, you're playing, 6, 7, 8 teams, how many they were going to put in, and you play everybody twice, it kind of shortens your schedule up. So, look, I'm not one to nitpick anything. I'm just fortunate to be in the position I'm in, and we'll go play whoever, whenever. So it's not a big deal to me.
Coach, really, really appreciate you taking the time to join me. And again, congratulations to you and congratulations to your program on walking away with the 3A state championship this year. And really, really look forward to seeing you guys back out there next year and trying to go and get you another one.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Caleb. Thanks for all you've done, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Coach.
Yes, sir. Best of luck.
That's going to do it for us here on the AHSAA podcast. I know we had a couple of weeks off, had some things come up, actually had some technical issues 1 week, wasn't able to get some podcasts in, and I was trying to set them up and talk to a couple of the baseball and softball teams that were competing in their regionals for softball and the third round for baseball, and some technical difficulties got in the way. And then obviously had the state championships last week. I was calling those for the TV network and wasn't able to have really much time to record. So been a couple of weeks now, but getting back at it here with the AHSAA podcast. I'm really excited. Had some people even reach out and asked if the podcasts were coming out. And so look, I'm always excited that other people are excited to hear, interviews and to hear things going on, because I love doing this. I love talking to coaches. I love talking to players, and I love, covering high school sports. I mean, high school sports is the most fun time that a lot of these kids are going to have playing athletics, even the ones that go on to college. I was talking with El Toro Freeman that played at Auburn University, played at Benjamin Russell High School, and he said, look, I was there at Auburn and we were talking about our high school days. We were sharing stories from playing high school. That's what we did in the locker room. And people just don't understand, this is the most fun times that you get to have, getting to be a part of this. And for a lot of these kids this past week in both baseball, softball, soccer, got to create a lot of memories for winning state championships, and even the ones that didn't win, getting to be a part of these events. I never got to play for a state championship in high school, and I tell kids all the time, like, I'd kill to trade places and to get to go play for one, even if we didn't come away with a win, just to be in that environment, be at the Super 7, be at the finals, be up in Oxford. It used to be Riverwalk Stadium and Lagoon Park in Montgomery when I was in school, and just getting to be a part of those events is a special things. And a lot of these kids have gotten to do a lot of special stuff over the last couple of weeks, getting to play for state championships, and for 7 schools in each classification able to bring home a state championship. So that's going to do it today. I want to thank Coach Aj Kehoe from Central-Phenix City for taking the time to join me. And again, congratulations to him, his first state championship. And as I said in the interview, he came really close there at Beauregard back when I was in high school. And I remember them making the trip down there and having just such a fantastic team. This time he's able to get it done. And Coach Cook, year 1, stepping in for Coach Whittle. Like he said, Coach Whittle always made him feel a part of it, made him feel like it was their team, their championship. But when you do step up and you become the head guy, it's a little bit different. He was able to go and deliver another title there for Trinity Presbyterian. And it'll be interesting. They're going to have to make the move up to 4A now because of the competitive balance and that type of stuff. And look, I know that with what they have there at Trinity, things are just going to keep rolling. So again, want to thank everybody for tuning in. Plan is to get back to having episodes every Tuesday, every Friday on the AHSAA podcast, and talking to a lot of different people. Summer's about to be around. There won't be sports going on. And so we'll be all over the place talking with football coaches, basketball coaches, softball, baseball, soccer, track and field, anything that you can think of, wrestling. We'll be covering all summer and trying to spread high school news. And as we get into July, we'll start really gearing up for football season and volleyball and the fall sports getting back rolling. So that'll do it for us today. We'll be back Friday with another episode of the AHSAA podcast right here